I should even say. Nick Neary and Donnie Bell join you this evening for another cracker night. And this is the one we've been looking forward to. The Willagee Bears take on the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Donnie, here we go.
Cracker night. I think you're underselling it, mate. This is top of the table. This is all of our questions answered. I know it's early in the season, but the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, they have looked sensational through the opening 3 rounds. The Willagee Bears, I feel like we kind of keep waiting for them to fall over, but last week they showed they're not about to fall over. Like they're a dead set. They're a team that is a competitor in this competition, and against the Joondalup Giants, the defending champions. We see the scores up on the screen, 28 points to 8. They were dominant in that win. They deserved that scoreline.
Absolutely they did. We got to see a lot more versatility out of the side that we didn't get to see in round 1. And that whole performance really teed it up that this had to be the game of the week. The other result was 10-16. Fremantle Roosters losing to the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, who are still in fine form themselves as we look at the ladder so far this year. They've all played 3 except for the Joondalup Giants. At the top, Ellenbrook Rabbitohs 3 from 3. Willagee Bears 2-0. They're also undefeated. They had a bye in there, of course, as well. And the Fremantle Roosters are 1-1. Joondalup Giants 0-3, and the Kalamunda Bulldogs 0-2. That gives you the ladder for now. And Donnie, I think you're an Ellenbrook man yourself, but you have rocked up in a black, white, and red jersey tonight. Is that a little indication?
I guess it shows that we've been ready for the Bears in Perth for a long time. This is a fairly old NRL WA polo. I got paid in polos for a very long time doing the commentary here in Western Australia. And this is, as you say, the red and black number. But the Bears, they've named a pretty strong team. I think both teams have named strong teams. It should be a ripping contest. I cannot wait.
Probably the biggest one tonight. We're going to be looking at the halves. Ruby Hodgson and Willow Leach will take it up in the centre of the ground, looking to play their way through a lot of football tonight. Ruby Hodgson, we know that she's going to look and go around the park. Willow Leach has a lot to do tonight, but there is someone left on the bench as well, Donnie, if Ellenbrook need to swap it up.
Absolutely. I mean, Pio Pomare, that gives you an indication as to how highly they rate Willow Leach. To have Pio Pomare sitting in that 14 jersey, I'm really I haven't seen Ellenbrook so far this season. I've only seen the scores coming through, which has been quite amazing. But to have Pio Pomare coming on against a tired defensive unit, that could be scary.
Just a couple of minutes away from kickoff here. I do believe we had a late official arriving to the ground, so at any moment's notice, we should be getting underway. Willagee Bears head their way out into the ground now. If we had to go into the early tipping territory, we both can't go for we can both go for the Willagee Bears, Donnie, but are you bold enough to tip them against these 20 ladies from Ellenbrook?
No, I'm not. I think Ellenbrook will get it done. I think it'll be close. It was close last week against Fremantle. I think we've got 3 teams at the top that are going to be very competitive. I'll be interested to see in coming weeks to see Willagee against the Roosters as well. So I think there's some good footy to be had in this Westpac Women's Premiership. The Bears, they'll be very competitive, but I think this Rabbitos team, they're a different gravy. I think they'll get the job done. I'm going to go Ellenbrook by 10.
I'm going to stick with the Willagee Bears. I think this is a little story that could write itself for the next couple of rounds. Do I think they deserve to be Premiership favourites? Probably not. Do I think that they could be 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 before they get a reality check and get that first little blemish on the record? Absolutely. This one, remember, Donnie, at home under lights for the Willagee Bears.
That was actually the question I was going to throw to you, is how much difference does it make being at Weber Reserve, Bear Park, in front of the home fans on a Friday night? How much difference does that make? The travel that Ellenbrook have had to do to get there, that they've had to probably work hard, leave work early, all that sort of stuff to get there on time. Does that play a role?
I think it does. There's even a couple that might have stopped for a snack on the way down, getting the lunch timing wrong, so you haven't eaten right, maybe the water's not in, whereas the Willagee Bears, most of them would have been able to go home for a shower after work before making it down this evening. Would have been absolutely no stress off their backs. Looks like the toss has been done and we're swapping sides here.
It's amazing how often that happens, isn't it? It's whoever wins the toss goes the opposite direction to where they're currently standing. It's a real grass is greener scenario.
I didn't think I gave an official score line, so I'll put it in here now. Bears by 2. Just the conversion in at Acker to win it late.
Well, I hope it is that close. I'll go so far as to say that, but it'll be the Willagee Bears to kick off. Ellenbrook Rabbitohs running from right to left on your screen. Some key players for me. Mahina Claire for the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. She scored 7 tries in the opening 3 games of the season. While for the Bears, I'll go Brianna Young. She scored back-to-back doubles. So looking to make it a hat-trick of doubles.
Pretty strong ball runner that gets some out and work on the outside fringe. Might have to tuck in a little bit defensively against Ellenbrook tonight, you would think, do a little shift in the middle defensively.
I think there might be a period of time where she does have to go in because they're a big side. I think that's going to be an interesting factor as well. Ellenbrook love to go through the middle. I don't know whether that's the way to go with the Willagee Bears because they do have a really strong middle third. So Ellenbrook might need to change it up and hit the edges. Kaylee Thompson, she's the master in terms of tactical rugby league. I think she will identify that and we'll try and test them a little wide of the ruck. We'll see how that develops though, but we're waiting on a ball. We've
almost got a ball.
Yeah, everyone's sort of waiting around. I don't think they were too happy with the first ball they had.
Acker has absolutely no interest in that footy there. Seems content to wait for something else.
Well, she's looking for a favourite ball. No, she doesn't like. Hey, that was a great call, Nick. You can tell that she didn't want that one.
It's below this standard of game that we're about to see, that's for sure. This looks shiny, a bit more yellow.
Well, Kaylee Thompson came up to check that one as well because it wasn't sort of that official ball, the Steeden.
Yeah, that looks much better.
Now we've got rugby league ready to go in the West. It took a little while, but we've got a ball that looks like a West Australian rugby league football.
Westpac Women's Premiership, round 4. Friday night under lights. Willagee Bears to take on the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Someone's got to have a loss.
With the 2 undefeated teams, Kaylee Thompson takes a long while before she finally picks that ball up. Now the Rabbitohs with Arsam in jersey 20, but starting the game. Mum Sarah will come from the bench. Kaylee Thompson tips that on to Gray. They're up quick, the Bears. We noticed that last week, their line speed.
Very good again.
Exactly, they'll get up, they'll look to monster them. Now Gray with another carry. It's Aaliyah, who's basically been in the team of the week every week. It's Kaylee Thompson. The kicking game will be important. That one goes down to Kanakosu, who puts it down. Well, came forward to try and take it on the full, attacked the ball, but
never really set before taking it. Was probably the factor there. I like the intent to attack the footy. First kick of the night, there was enough airtime there just to settle for a second before taking it in. Big advantage for the Rabbitohs. Harsam stopped the first 2 runs pretty nicely, did the Bears. Good numbers out right-hand side. Little pump from Leach. Didn't like the first runner. Thompson skips to the outside. Brianna Young just slips off the tackle. McNally disrupts the footy and it goes out on the sideline. Early in the repeat set, they get a good turnover and now get their first chance to march up the park.
So we've got a
little knock in there.
Well, I was actually trying to find the referee in the vision, but we've got a young referee. I don't know the young man. We'll have to get in touch with Caleb Reedy, try and find out who the bloke is that's got the whistle.
Maybe the official's still late and this is the touchy that's come on.
Well, I was looking for him when it was a play the ball after the knock on from Kanakosa rather than a scrum. was the reason why I was checking to see, because I didn't think that would be the way Liam Noonan would have gone. I thought he might have correctly put down the scrum, but the Bears, their first use of the ball. And now we get to see the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Well, we know that they like to intimidate with their defence as well, much like the Bears have. They read from the same playbook with the way that they play the game on what I've seen in the opening couple of times I've seen the Bears. And obviously seen a lot of the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs over the last 5 or 6 years, Nick.
This is going to get real physical. Ellenbrook are going to match the physicality. Judging by this first set, they want every piece of this middle running.
Kapawaiga, looks like she started the game. As the Bears, they get to their kick. Kicking that down. Taolini, she runs against the sideline and on first play, up right against the touchline, forced to put a kick in, and it goes into touch. Well, that is low percentage rugby league from the Rabbitos.
I think there was just a little bit of an eye towards the inside of the field and said, I'm absolutely going nowhere near those players, so I'll go for the risky one that obviously wasn't going to pay off many times. Bears get another little bit of fortune after they made the first error. They managed to get 2 back the other way.
It feels like a little bit of a rugby union play.
Yeah.
You sort of get against the sideline, you put a kick in.
Slow it down.
But it's sort of part of the game in union, but that's not rugby league. You've got to use your 6 plays. You've got them there to use.
This Kaisia took a while to get it down. Hodgson, real patient, just waits for this one to come out. Nice little crack back on the inside, Frost Kelemete.
One thing I'm noticing so far, the Bears are running through the changes as Hodgson gets out of dummy half. If there's any lazy markers, Hodgson will find them. Frida Assam slows it down. Now they look to go through with Samoa.
Only 10 away here.
Frida again dominant in the tackle though. It goes now to Bert Pollier. Tries to roll it in behind. I think that's played at. Picked up by Hodgson. Hodgson looking to find some space. It should be a repeat of the tackle count.
Do have a signal in goal. Fresh set.
So now Samoa. Well, that was... she was a bit flat-footed, just having a bit of a breather out the back and gets the ball in her hands. Bert Pollier, she wants it. She takes on the line. Tries to use her physicality. We know she can hit like a train. Doesn't mind taking the line on with the ball in hand either. So now the Bears. Suamili fires it out wide. The Rabbitos, they adjust well. That's good defence. Sliding out. Kanakos has to go back infield. Suamili goes down a blind side. I think that might have popped out forward. It's play on. Touch judge hasn't called it. And now kicking out of that tackle is Young. Trying the crash play now with Frost Kelemete. Plays it back to Hodgson. Again, looks out the back. Bert Pollier tries to roll it in behind. Diving on it there is Ruanaki. That'll be a repeat set. Goal line dropout. And they're a really well-coached team, the Bears. That's patient. They're happy to just roll it in behind, get a repeat set, mount that pressure, and keep the ball in hand.
And there was no set play through the whole repeat set there, but they never looked really under pressure at all to make a decision. They were happy to work through the natural play. End up in a good position. It was a well-weighted kick in goal as well. Might not be long till they get over here. Cute pick up, Daniels. Crunch backwards. 12 the trip. Hodgson goes open side. Couple of flat runners, almost forward. Donny looks forward again. Amatiti. Hodgson from half, straight through. Gets inside the marker. Over the top of Ruru. Hanaki gets the first one for the Bears. 4 points to 0, and they strike first against the Rabbitos.
Well, it was a good charge from Amatiti, the first run. And Hodgson, she has a look every play. Every single play, she looks at the defence, she looks at what they're offering, and if there's half an opportunity, she's going to take it, and she does right there.
Should be a good conversion chance as well.
But again, it comes back to the previous set of 6, where they didn't push the pass. They didn't look to force a try to happen when they ran out of tackles. Just roll it in behind, get another set of 6, we'll get the ball back, and eventually they're going to break.
Pretty excited for how the rest of this one's going to shape out. They've only had to defend once against the Rabbitos so far. About 15 tackles the other direction. Acker adds the extra 2, 6-0 here, 8 minutes gone. Maybe one of those evenings that we want an extra couple minutes on the clock. Let's get this into a big test. Producer Dave agrees with Nick. He reckons that that's the touchy come on, but besides the first scrum, he got the repeat set call pretty nicely done there. That was a played-out kick. Yeah,
I think he was pointing out the fact that the second touch judge for that conversion attempt was a Willagee Bears staff member using a football as a flag.
That's smart.
So, yeah, what is it?
Maybe that's why they swap balls. He goes, no, that's my flag.
Yeah,
I need my flag.
It's like the rugby league version of village cricket. It's,
good deep kickoff this time, Thompson. A nice tackle by Fisher on the chase to be able to bring it down, 20 out. Make that 30. Well, they keep things up the middle here, the Bears. Certainly looks like they'll go wide here. They've got a set play coming out of their own back half, and a gap opens up for Brianna Young. Can't bustle enough through all of the tackles this time, but quickly to feet. Short side should be the option, should be 3v2. Ellenbrook managed to get the numbers across. Thompson all over the ball. Good meters gain, and they can set up into last here. Kate Williams crashes nicely. Real good return set. Meters gained in a handful. Now Bert Poliau goes direct. Chase is good. Ruru Hanaki doesn't want a piece of it for now. Leaves it for her winger in Samantha Terahua. Just gets tackled 2 meters out from her own line.
Well, again, she ran straight towards that sideline, and you picked up Ruru Hanaki. Ruru Hanaki was right there, didn't want to touch that ball. So there was no communication. No one actually wanted to pick it up. Perfect hit between winger and fullback, and went very near to catching them in goal after points.
And the odd thing about it all is Ruru Hanaki hits the ball up, second tackle of the set, with full ferocity and intent and shaking on the ground. So there was no worry about, I don't want to pick this up, I've done my hammy. She was fine, just didn't want a piece of that one. Nice little work through hands, back past halfway, trying to keep it alive, Fisher.
The Rabbitos certainly being tested here early as Claire tips that on now to Ali. Ali in the middle of the field. 40 out from the Bears line. It goes back to Thompson. Puts it up high. She's got a result from a high kick already, and she almost gets one again. Kanakosa drops it backwards. That almost has a bobble in trying to pick it up as well. So you can guarantee that's where Kaylee Thompson's going to kick this entire game.
A little high from Arsam, fresh off the bench. Not called.
Hodgson again exploring out of dummy half. As the Bears trying to work it out of their own end, now through Acker. Always hard to handle. Hodgson again into dummy half, and here comes Young. Young in behind the ruck. She tests them out every time she runs. She's a big ball of muscle. Giving the Rabbitos problems as Bert Pollier didn't like the look out to the left, goes to the right. Picked up by Lowndes. Lowndes comes back in centre field. She gets monstered now by Williams, who wrestles her to the ground. Quick play the ball though. Ruru Hanaki out of dummy half. Hodgson chops her in half.
Bit of pace coming.
Io Pomare out onto the field. Now Toby. And a penalty. The Bears offside. Well, we saw this last week. They go through a little stage where they a little lazy in terms of getting back on side and give away a few penalties, and invited Fremantle back into that. Sorry, not Fremantle. Joondalup back into that game a few times.
I just think it came from that little bit of extra pace on from Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, and they want to get up as a line defensively. So as soon as that ball play, maybe just going with the flow of the play, hoping that it's not going to get noticed. Something to keep an eye on for the rest of the game for sure. Arsam had the first carry, and they progressed nicely for this first couple tackles. Outside ball was a no look up. Receiver wasn't ready on the outside. Hand goes up from Macy Simpkins on the outside. Third error already from the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs in attack. Just another little look at it on the replay. Had eyes for all the defence on the outside. Beautiful viewing down here at the home of the Willagee Bears. Cracking oval, cracking crowd.
Fantastic facility that they've got there. Great to see the Bears back in the Westpac Women's Premiership. They've sort of been in and out of this competition a couple of times over the last 6 or 7 years, but yeah, great to see them back, and great to see them up near the top of the table as well.
There's Brianna Young just stepping a player or two on the inside, getting a little bit more involved early in the sets.
The Bears are liking this left-hand channel. They keep it hitting down that area. They like what the Rabbitos are offering them. They probably like what they've got too with Young on that side. Acker has to come in looking for a bit of work and finds it. Uses some footwork to beat Kaylee Thompson. They're feeling the pinch here, the Rabbitos. Under some pressure. As the Bears get to their kick, that's nicely taken. Good carry back, fending away from Hodgson in the first instant there, Ruru and Arki. Hodgson comes again to finish off the tackle. Now Fisher out of dummy half.
Getting better and better every year, Fisher. Liking the way these first couple carries have gone.
Well, the Rabbitos, they really haven't had too many chances. They are trying to get themselves into the grind. But this is high-quality rugby league. The Bears leading 6 points to 0 on the Westpac scoreboard. There's Arsam. Well, Frida Arsam is definitely a player that can change the momentum. Gets them going on the front foot. Kaylee Thompson says we'll go forward. Now they get it out wide to Trahini. Trahini back to Toby. Almost a forward pass to Pomare, and it's called forward.
So there's a little bit of biff back in behind the play. Thompson just stayed connected for a little while there. Interesting. Might get a little look at it here. No, it's going to fall just out of frame again. Wonder who the tackler was. Tensions are going to keep building. It's just this last pass that was forward that you saw there. Yeah, it's going to become disconnected after the fact anyway.
That Mel Toby pass, she just kind of got swung around in the tackle and got her body into an awkward position where it had to go forward. You didn't need to be in line with it to tell that was a forward pass.
16 minutes in, Ellenbrook need a forward half turnover. Not game defining, but momentum is shifting away from them with every set at the moment. Thompson will slow this one down as long as she legally can.
The thing that I think Ellenbrook will know, and the Bears will also know, is that they are going to have to play until the final siren, as we see Campbell, a bullet-like tackle, and another one from marker.
Thought Daniels was going to get around the marker there. Not to be. Nice little scoop and go, Hodgson again.
I think there was two big shots there from the Rabbitos. Doesn't bother them. They just keep going forward.
Kick on
they
through.
They shake it off.
But Poliau into space. Ruhinaki doesn't want it again. She's gassed from the last two. Says Lowndes, your turn. Got by the bootstraps, but let go of. Eventually Williams throws her to ground. Quick play of the ball. Right-hand side. A little look here. Tehivura.
Trahone's got through a fair bit of work, the winger. And that's an indication the Rabbitos keep having to bring it out of their own end. It's Gray. Goes out to Claire. Claire tips that one underneath.
got the 16 of Simpkins, but it doesn't seem to be Simpkins in the headgear.
Well, now Clare goes through and an intercept knocked backwards by the Bears, knocked on there. So first it was knocked backwards and then knocked on in trying to clean it up. This should be a Rabbitos ball.
Looks to be that way as well. Thought they were on for a second. Clare through a nice little hole. It has to just be forward there. We actually could have played away for a long time through that knock around. This is the chance. They get that extra set. They didn't get it defensively with an impact play. But off a line break, retain ball, fresh set. Now's when you want Thompson to orchestrate something. 4 or 5 tackles out here. She can really work this one pretty hard all the way to the line. Ready to go with the scrum. This is Thompson. Takes the first herself, straight through the line. No stopping her. Sizes up the palm. Hodgson not good enough. And Kaylee Thompson goes through to that very short end goal and gets that first reply for the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Does all the work herself. Doesn't need to set it up over 5 tackles and then kick the corner. Just says thank you very much. And probably the question is where was Kani Kosa?
Well, I mean, straight, as you say, straight from the scrum win. Players in motion, and it just opened up. Kanakosa, I think it was, that missed that first tackle. Hodgson gets stepped inside.
So there was no fullback?
And almost runs over the dead ball line.
There was no fullback for that play?
Not for that play. Well, Kanakosa missed the first tackle. I mean, quite often from a scrum win, you're just going to line up, and that's the point of a scrum, is you line up 7v7. If there's one missed tackle, then it's game over. And that's exactly what happened there. And the Rabbitos are about to lock this one up, you would think. Kaylee Thompson, I don't want to put the mock on her too. Yes, I do want to put the mock on her a little bit. Because I'm sure she'll message me during the week if she does manage to miss this. But
just making sure of it.
She could head this one over. But she's one of the, I would say, the premier goal kicker in the Westpac Women's Premiership. She'll kick this one.
Set up to fail. Not going to be. One day, Donny, you'll get your wishes come true. 6-all down here at Willagee Park. 20 minutes gone in the first half of the Westpac Women's Premiership. Good game forming. Always nerve-wracking when you hype a game up last week into this week. Rev it up pre-game. And at least for the first 20 minutes, we've been treated to exactly what we asked for. One that looks like it could still build through a couple of gears here. It's going to be about tank later in the second half by the looks of all of this. Message at halftime will be important to both teams, but we've still got a fair few minutes to get through here. Probably next score vital to the outlook of the timeline. Looking for anything deep from Acker here to be locked up sufficiently. Can't be passed halfway after third. Going to get chopped off 15. And recovered by the Bears. Off the shins, 12-metre kick. Hodgson chased it up the middle. And now through Frost Kelemete. They can work their way straight up the middle of the park again. Felikiau. Hodgson, right side, Daniels. Ellenbrook just moving as one at the moment, shifting their line as it needs to. All the key playmakers are kind of in and around the footy. They could go either way here. Samoa 10 metres out. Hodgson fake short side, went open, then had her half running around the back of her. Grubber kick's going to go wide of them all. Ellenbrook Rabbitohs will get it 5 metres from their own line. Probably the first time they haven't really executed the end of their set there.
There's some unusual things happening. The touch judge doesn't have a flag right now.
Needs something.
He put his hand up. I'm not sure what's going on there, but
someone get the man a golf towel.
In any case, that was an ordinary play on last play from the Willagee Bears. It all broke down a little bit. Suamili set up on that short side. It wasn't supposed to go to Bert Pollaer on the last, but it did. And she tried to make the best of it, but a pretty ordinary kick went straight over the sideline.
Assam has to check the run. Out here for her second stint. 4 involved in the tackle. Minimum order required by the coaching staff. Maybe Simpkin up past halfway now.
I think it might be the 15 on our sheet, Queen Curran in the 16.
It'd make a little more sense. Hodgson charges down, the kick lost forward.
Well, again, I think the charge down's fine, and then Bert Pollier on the ground has knocked it on, which should restart the tackle count, and therefore it should be a scrum, but it looks like we're going to have a play the ball. Actually, it wasn't Bert Pollier, it was Hodgson who charged it down in the second effort. As the great shots there from the camera crew, local media services company, doing a great job giving us great vision there, showing that it was actually Hodgson that knocked that one on. So that's how our newly appointed stats man gets the right person in the stat sheet there for the error. As the Rabbitos go right on the attack, it goes now to Claire. Claire goes to the line, floats it across the face, knocked down by the Bears, so it will be the Rabbitos to retain possession. I think that was a try-saving hand, though, from the Bears. I don't know if you caught who the hand of God was there.
No, but it's probably one of the better professional fouls going around at the moment. Might be McNally.
I think it was Gillard, Zoe Gillard from the Bears.
5, Zoe Gillard, well done.
Well, of course, it would be a yellow card in the other game,
Absolutely.
not in rugby league.
I'd be thinking straight red, to be honest. Pretty strict on it. Sinful thinking in the other lands, not here.
Pomare goes to Thompson. Thompson goes wider, out to Toby. They go now. The centres combining. Fisher bouncing away from a couple. Looked outside, looked inside, looked outside, and eventually just submits in the tackle. Pomare goes short side. Ruhanaki to Toby. Toby trying to get through the tackle of Brianna Young. Not too many succeed there, but she only holds onto a bootlace. As now Tiaroa out onto the field. Started from the bench despite wearing 12. Now it comes across to Curran. Curran chopped down. Good tackle by Hodgson. Pio Pomare finds Hodgson just lying in the ruck. And with the player lying in the ruck, there's space right there, dives over. That is clever play from Pio Pomare. And the number 9s, they exchange tries in this classic contest.
Good work from the halves, but I think there's also a little extra attention just on the outside. Had Tamula and Assam both lining up 1 metre out in front of the sticks. It just forced the markers to go, well, we better shift out 2 metres here, open up a little gap underneath for the halves. It was enough. 6-10, kick to come from directly in front again. Thompson in absolutely no hurry to get this on the tee.
Give her team a little bit of time to recover, but again, we saw with the try for Ruby Hodgson, it was set up by the play before. It was a great run from Chloe Amataitai to set up that try, and again, in this instant with Pio Pomare, it was a run before, the quick play the ball, left Ruby Hodgson lying in the ruck. Despite the fact it was a good tackle from Hodgson, the fact that she wasn't able to get up and get into the line meant that the 9 had an opportunity to dive over, and one with the class of Pomare was always going to go across. And 2 players that you highlighted pre-game, Nick, and they've shown so far in this opening 27 minutes exactly why you've highlighted them.
It has to be the one to watch for the whole evening. Probably the second battle out there that hasn't talked about too much is the one that's more of an uphill one, Kanikosa versus Ruru Hanaki. We know what Ruru Hanaki can bring, and probably from that first play of the night, Kanikosa drops that first kick, but now is slowly building into... there is 2 errors there. We had the missed tackle for the first try for the Rabbitos as well, so a little bit of a mountain for the fullback to climb to come back onto parity tonight. Say the 9s are even, and if you had to look anywhere else, are you going to compare Bert Polliard to Kaylee Thompson, or is it not one worth looking at?
Well, again, Bert Polliard probably needs to take a bit of control. She tends to control games with her physicality. But there's a bit to be done out there, I think, in terms of controlling the team around the park here tonight. You look more to Suamili, I think, for that role. I'd like to see her step up and guide the team around the park.
I was loving that first up tackle, and she gets involved in the second there. Kasaya had a huge smile on her face watching the contact that was about to come her way. Assam, in the meantime, bustling through the centre of the park. Looking younger every year at this point, Assam just keeps bustling through packs as they come. Crack off the inside, Toby. Starting to get a little bit of a roll on now, the Rabbitos. They're gaining metres a lot more than they were at the start of the night. Deep ball. Ruru Hanaki could be forward, played away. Lowndes down the sideline, gets away from it. Steps back inside, and they can set up on last. Willow Leach sets well. 2 pass out to the centre of the ground. High ball, Gray. Testing, bobbling, but managing to hold on. Grace Lydian's just got to secure this one at the ground level.
We've just seen the 15 come onto the field. That's definitely Queenie Curran in the 15. So I thought it might have been her under the headgear, but yeah, not sure who it is in 16.
Maybe Jean Atley. We're running out of numbers we haven't called yet. We'll figure it out eventually.
Now the Bears bringing it out of their own end. An interesting one. You're taking that last bomb. Grace Liddy scored a double last week and gets dropped to the bench. It's not often you score a double and get dropped, but that's what's happened with Tara McNally coming into the side for the Bears. We see, again, a nice little scurry from Hodgson. God, she's asked some questions. Been very dangerous. As they go back to Bert Pollier, that's actually Acker for the kick. Allowed to bounce, gets a kind one, Fisher. Goes close to the sideline, gets a pass inside to Lowndes. Lowndes able to run a long way before Hodgson grabs her around the ankles and drags her down. So Leach back out into that 9 roll. They're swapping that pretty quickly. The Rabbitos, Ruru Hanaki tackled there. Now with Taharini. Taharini will play it. Back to Leach, now Ali. Ali just hitting that short side. So they're getting through this set. Comes now to Thompson. Thompson looks outside, goes out the back to Clare. Clare goes wider still. The shape wasn't quite there for the Rabbitos. It's cleaned up by Fisher. Fisher again trying to break some tackles up against the sideline on last play. And there's the halftime siren. So, well, an enthralling first 30 minutes. I agree with you. I'd love to see another 10. This game could go forever. 12-6, the Rabbitos leading the Bears at the break.
We'll go to a short little break right now. It's lived up to it so far. Westpac Women's Premiership returns right after this. Welcome back. Second half of the Westpac Women's Premiership this Friday night, just about to get underway. Willagee Bears getting barked at to get back out onto the field. Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, look at them, set, ready to go. They might kick it just before they're even ready here. Long way across the park to get to the other side's bench. First 12 minutes or so controlled by Willagee Bears. And they got up 6-0, but then just a little bit of lazy defence and some sustained efforts through the outside of the park. Ellenbrook Rabbitohs get back 12-6, Donny.
Yeah, I think this opening 10 minutes of the second half is going to be the key to this contest, because the Bears are going to come out of the sheds. They're at home. They're going to be all fire and brimstone, and if the Rabbitohs can repel them as they did in the first half, I think they'll fade quicker, and the Rabbitohs can really run away with it and probably win by more than they deserve to. But that's the way they play. They will just grind them into the dirt. If the Bears can't get the better of this opening 10-minute period.
You did say they'd fade last week, though, and they didn't. Could be a chance to get this one through the full 60 again, but I still think you're spot on in the summation. But Bears by 2. Looks just as likely as Rabbitohs by 10 right now.
Another game going on at the moment. The Fremantle Roosters and the Callaway Bulldogs up at Hartfield Park, and the Roosters leading that one 30 points to 0. At about the same time as we are, so it all kicked off at the same stage. So half time in that one.
Just hitting the blind runner, not the start the Bears were after. If controlling the first 15 was the order of the day, they've got to have a big defensive set here, the Willagee Bears. Got to rattle themselves up quickly coming off this half-time break. Haven't seen that in a while. Rugby league scrums moves 3 metres sideways to look for better ground, just in case we push.
It seems unnecessary, doesn't it? But Thompson feeds the scrum. Picked up by Leach, goes to Clare. Clare has a couple of runners, couple of options. Turns it underneath to Fisher, and the Bears read that pretty well with the scrum set piece. Now Clare again goes to the line, finds the hard straight runner. The ball comes out the back, picked up again from Clare. Now finding it, another strong run. The Rabbitohs put down with Campbell. Centre field, 10 out. Looks across to Ali. Ali. We set a platform. There's a few Bears there to drag her down. Leach waits at dummy half. Goes to Curran. Curran takes them on. She must be the captain or something with the black number instead of the white. There's now Campbell. The crash play gets over the line. The Bears get underneath and hold her up.
Now, did we even get a look at Campbell in the first half, or have they sprung this on them? Start of the second half, we've got another fresh set of legs.
Well, she came up with a couple of big shots where she shot out of the line in defence, but we didn't see a lot of her with the ball. We see Kaylee Thompson barking instructions. Gets the ball in hand. Does she get the shape she wants? Ruanaki goes out to Toby. Toby floats it out. Trahini for the corner. Gets over. And Samantha Trahini scores for the Rabbitohs. Well, she was busy early, and now she stretches the advantage. The Rabbitohs out to a 16-6 lead. Kick to come.
Really good all the way down the short side here. Thompson, Ruru were really nice, but I just like that little show on the outside by Toby before going over the top. Made it a one-on-one in the corner and forced it to be a good contest.
Yeah, no, it was really good play. Again, it was probably the delay after the held-up play that set up that try, because it allowed Kaylee Thompson to get all of her players, less experienced players that don't read the game of rugby league quite the same way she does. She got them all where she wanted them, and they executed it perfectly. Got out to the edge, they found that space and scored the try. 16-6 lead. And the Bears, well, we said they had to start fast in this second half. Instead, they've come up with an error and given away a try. And suddenly they're under a bit of pressure.
Makes it all the harder. Convert this kick as well. Makes it real tough. Tough kick, though.
Very tough kick. Don't get any harder than this. But I tell you, this is where all the goal kickers practice from. They'll practice 2 from in front, and 2% of the time from in front, and 98% of the time is from right on the touchline.
She's had a little bit of an obsession so far this game with making sure the ball's perfectly aligned to where she wants it. Kaylee Thompson was doing it in front, does it from the sideline here to make sure it's perfect. It's all about strike here, though. Just curling a little bit too much. Score remains 6-16. Margins 10. One more look at the try here. After Ruru Hanaki passes this off, just watch this early pump. Forces the defender just to set on the heels. McNally then turns to the inside. A lot of coverage work has to be done. It's just that little pump that gets McNally off kilter that opens up that opportunity.
I'll tell you one player from the Rabbitos I'm really liking what she's doing is Natalia Tiaroa. She's doing little things that don't get noticed. She was the one that had the run before the Paiho Pomare try, and you see just in that play there, she was the one running the decoy run that held some runners in place that provided that little bit of space to the outside. It gets overlooked, but those little 1%ers, I think she's doing some good things. Started from the bench today. She might be earning a starting spot before too long if she keeps doing those little things that coaches definitely notice.
Well stopped the first run of Assam. Came from the fence. Now they set out real wide left-hand side. It's either short for Assam or Thompson's got something in the books here. Nice little switch in play. Campbell runs straight through the centre of the ground. Got the motor rolling for a second. Now Thompson wants it right-hand side of the park. Little switch in, error. A little bit too cute. Just held onto the footy instead of popping it. Just confused the runner, thought the switch was off. Needed this one just to go aerial. Late turn, a little bit cute.
We did find out at halftime the referee for this game is the appointed touch judge. Wasn't supposed to be refereeing this game, but has stepped up. Ethan Robles. Ewan Robles, sorry. Ewan Robles. So I'd imagine this is his Westpac Women's Premiership debut, and he's doing a fine job out there tonight. So good job, Ewan. Hope you're enjoying the occasion. Top of the table clash as well. What a time to make your unexpected debut.
It's probably good that you don't overthink a game like that as well. It's just time to go, trust the call. Acker off the left. Breaks halfway through the line. Good leg drive as well. They keep pace on here early in the set. Or do they settle themselves up for something on last? Looks like we're ready to roll. Caught it from behind. Out threat through 2 sets of hands. Don't throw that pass. Smartly retained in the middle of the ground.
Well, that was frustration from Zara Suamili. She looked outside. The run that she wanted wasn't there. Bert Pollier goes to the line. Gets it out to Young. Young, always hard to handle. Eventually the held call comes. Gray jumps down. That's got to be a penalty. She tackled her like 3 times there, Gray, and on last tackle gives away an unnecessary penalty.
Came from the determination of Young to say, I'm still getting up. I'm playing this ball. And then it just becomes glaringly obvious that the infringement was there. Hands all over the shoulders. Big chance in front.
Matai with the first run. Hodgson jumps into dummy half. Foliaki. Foliaki's going to try and crash over. Draw in some defenders. Didn't draw in too many. Tiaroa and Gray get her down before she can cause too much damage. They try and crash over again with Frost Kelamete. She's put down. They look now down to this left-hand side. Bert Pollier tries to use her physicality, and she is too strong. Pulls through the tackle, gets the ball down, and Bert Pollier just continues to do things a 7 shouldn't be able to.
Big response required from the Willagee Bears. They get it done. 10-16. Kick to come to make the margin 4. All the more vital. Nobody able to get underneath the footy there. That's a good use of the repeat set, just being direct. Willagee Bears, they love going through the middle, whether it's in the middle of the park all right at the goal line. They just seem so strong. They've got good craft underneath the defender's shoulders a lot of the time. This game's going quickly though, Donnie. 9 minutes gone already.
Again, we sort of talked about it. We talked about it pre-game how the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs might want to attack in a different way rather than trying to go through the middle of the Willagee Bears. But the Bears going through the middle of the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, that shouldn't work either. And you know, so far, well, in that set certainly, it's worked really well for them. Crash, 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 and over they go.
Important kick for Acker. Gets the job done, and the Touchies have found flags at half-time. Huge news for all involved on a Friday night.
Well, they've actually found an official touch judge as well to fill that other slot on the sideline. They've been making up as they go along here, the referees, and maybe they should do that more often because they're doing a great job so far tonight.
Anybody in a yellow shirt got called into action tonight. A couple of big water boys with bibs were nervous.
Well, it's always the way with players. If you're a player, make sure, and you're going to watch a game, make sure you bring your boots because you might be required. Maybe it's the same with with referees as well. Make sure you bring your boots because someone doesn't show up, you're in.
Always have the clubs in the boot. That's the motto I live by. Beautiful kickoff. Made hard work. Big return comes the other way. Ellenbrook look fired up in defence here. Not charging out of the line and kind of accepting that tackle on the back foot.
Samoa takes it forward as now the Bears going out a little bit wider, turning that one underneath, and guess who it is? It's Young. Good tackle, down low. Kaylee Thompson shows the way to get it down early. Hodgson, though, on the back of that, quick play the ball, gets out of dummy half. Now Suamili, they're on the front foot and they're rolling. They go now Kate Williams. Williams, dummy to the outside, just takes it forward. Tackle 5. Hodgson looking around, looking for the right option. Comes back to Bert Pollier's, just going to take the percentage play there, but it's held up in the end goal, just stops on a dime. And Ruru Anaki, well, she does well to get back in the field of play. The chase could have been better. What a kick off the boot. I thought that was going dead, but it just stopped.
Gives me a chance to go 2 golf references in 2 minutes. Just checked up nicely on the surface there. Real classy touch there. Ellenbrook Rabbitohs deep in their own half, so they keep the pace on. I liked that look from the Bears. Rattled the Rabbitohs for half a second. And it's got them unorganised in defence here. In offense, I should even say. A little bit frazzled now with this little pace off the game. Gives them a chance through Gray to attack up the middle. The Catherine Tapaya just able to drive it backwards. Forces an error in the tackle as well.
It was, he called held before the offload, so goes back to the play of the ball. I think an early held call. There's Assam. And talk about momentum changer. Well, they were going nowhere. And now a penalty as well.
Might be on the first offender. Hodgson maybe offside.
Well, it seems unusual because the Rabbitohs, like the game stopped to go back to play it on the mark. There's no reason why Hodgson should have been offside.
Actually paid the price by getting bumped off anyway.
Well, it gives Ellenbrook a chance to extend this 4-point lead at an important stage of the game. The Bears, they need a defensive stand right now. So they work the short side. Ruhanaki goes out to Toby. Toby goes to Traherne. Goes back infield. Pio Pomare back out onto the field. Hodgson charges up on Gray. Saw it coming. Gets the offload though. They go out to this left-hand side, but the Bears are up in numbers. Heavy contact. And Bert Pollier. Kick down. It's taken comfortably this time. She's had her troubles with the high kick as Canacosa, but takes that one nicely.
There's lots of space on the left here if they want to work their way through this short side. They get Kaylee Thompson involved in the next tackle, so maybe they go again here. Slow play of the ball. Open up. Gillard through the centre. Already 15 minutes into this second half, 14 if you want to get technical. Very quickly this second half's getting away from us here. 4 points the margin. And I'll say our predictions of 2 points or 10 points, Donny, are pretty spot on. Someone's going to score here. I don't know if we'll get 3 scores. Hodgson stops on the run and finds a hole back on the inside. Only just wrangled on the bootlaces and collapsed down onto. Still live in the set. Nice little pump over the top by Suamali. Might have been called forward. There was something going on the touchy. Suamali gets it back on the inside. 5 metres to go. Might be a fresh set even. I'm getting signals from everywhere. Bears go in the corner. 16 all, tied up really nicely. Tirahera goes over really clean, I believe, or it might be Grace Liddy.
I think it's Liddy.
There was just a lot going on there. There was producers, callers, broadcasters of alike, hand signalling just like that in the air, and I wasn't sure if it was 6 again, but the Bears have stuck to the task. Suamali had 3 touches leading into this, tying it up in the corner. 15 minutes to go. This is good footy, Donny.
Well, it was great stuff there from the Bears. Again, just a quick play the ball, and on the back of that, Caitlin Burt-Pollier looks down that narrow short side. Great ball out to Grace Liddy, who dives over in the corner. She's a really good finisher. We said during the call earlier in that first half, scored a double last week, still gets dropped to the bench this week, but gets herself another meat pie to lock this one up. 16 all. Acker with a kick from the sideline to try and put the Bears in front. This, well, I know it's a reasonably new clubhouse. They've just built it. They kick this one, they'll have to tear it down and rebuild it again because it will lift the roof.
Still a few seconds away. Acker's making sure of it. Believes she knows it's important. Even the whole crowd, that's as quiet as it's been all night on the sidelines.
A hush falls over the ground.
Just pulls it, had a little stutter on the way in, wasn't convinced in her own run-up. 16 all, 13 and a half to play.
We have another look at this try. Suamili goes to the line, throws the long pass there, out to Liddy. And that's where the touch came from. That you see the call from the touch judge to the touch, so 6 again. They don't need 6 more though. They go down the short side. But Pollier, there was plenty of Rabbitos there. There's 4 Rabbitos that all got drawn in on Bert
to the
Pollier.
Second, yeah. Good finish, as advertised here. Strong catch again. Bert Pollier gets crunched on her way back up into the line.
Hina Claire. Not, well, of course, she's played a lot as a lock forward herself. So not foreign doing a lot of defence. Trying to put on a shot there for a team, and now the Bears coming up with an error. Suamili trying to pretend that she didn't touch it. Now looks confused as she looks at the referee. I don't know who she's trying to fool, but that's a clear knock on.
It's just one that never gets played away from. I think if you got the measure out, you could say it went 4 millimetres backwards technically, but it's always going to be a knock on.
Well, this is a game-defining set of 6 perhaps coming up right now. After scoring points, the Bears make the error. Give the Rabbitos field position. Claire goes to the line. Short ball. And I think that's Bert Pollier, is it? Charging up, making a massive shot on Ruru Hanaki. She gets up and plays it quickly. Claire takes on the line. Dragged down. I'll try and slow the ball down. That's got to be a penalty. That's ripped out. Has to be a penalty to the Rabbitos, and it is. And eventually she'll walk away.
I think Daniels is more saying, I don't know how I ended up with it. How are you penalising me?
Well, they're taking the 2.
Love that. Love that. That's footy. That means it's a serious game of football.
That absolutely right. This is semi-final type decisions here. Score locked at 16 all. Got a chance to take the 2.
keep
take whatever points are on offer.
To keep a winless record is, I think, a good objective that the Rabbitos want. Got to answer back after that. Was that season the one that was undefeated that Joondalup ended up winning? It was an undefeated season that year. Producer Dave, legacy on the line.
No, I don't think it was an undefeated season from the Giants, but I think the Rabbitos did win during the season.
Semantics. It's all about the here and now. 10 minutes to go after this kick to take the lead back, the Rabbitos. Early calls from the crowd. You knew it was going through all day.
We got 10 minutes to go. The Rabbitos up by 2. 18-16 on the Westpac scoreboard. Penalty goal, the difference so far. I don't think I've ever said that in a Westpac Women's Premiership game.
Not with 10 to go, maybe with 40 seconds to go and they go one in front. Yes, confirm. I've called one. Producer
I don't know
Dave.
whether anybody else heard that question.
Yeah, sorry, Producer Dave now getting too confidently involved in the broadcast. Stick to typing. Suits you better, Akka. About to get us restarted.
Goes straight down the middle, Akka, using the feet to trap that. The Bears screaming for the knock on, and I think Rua and Aki sort of looked up a little guiltily as well.
Even Assam kind of said, do I need to run this? Because that was a knock on, right?
She trapped it with the feet in the first instance, but then had a little bobble to try to pick it up. Gets away with it. A short pass there from Pio Pomare as Gray almost overruns it and gets the call from the touch judge. Did overrun it. Well, the teams just continue to trade mistakes after points. After taking the penalty goal, I know there was some discussion as to whether that was the right decision. And I think when you make a mistake after kicking the penalty goal, it's like, well, maybe it wasn't the right decision.
Makes it tricky.
You have to complete that set and get it up the other end for that to be the right call.
Can the Bears get back on the board? Got stuck in the scrum. Ellenbrook's line was allowed to advance very quickly. No room for Akka to move. And they're flat on the outside. It's going to have to stay straight for a while. Daniels with a good forward-leaning carry. Outside, Samoa goes deep. Held up, Bert Poliau tries to go through the line. 7-on-7 action hasn't been that much tonight. Somali, flat, McNally gets her past the first. Ruru Hanaki just has to go chest on chest, 2 meters out from the line. Can they hold on here again, the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, or are we destined for the corner? Frost Kilamede. Hodgson flat to the centre of the ground. They're all flat-footed on the outside. They won't go through easy here, Williams. 6 called. Don't think they knew it was the end of the set either. They're still going to be trailing by 2 in advanced field position.
It wasn't the play on last. They had to come up, and we saw it in the first half where they were able to show patience, roll it in behind, get the repeat set, build pressure. That, at this stage of the game, with the clock ticking down, that was a panic play on last there from the Bears. They hand over possession, but they're trying to now turn up the heat with their defence. Trying to force the mistake. Traherne. Play the ball for the Rabbitohs. She's worked really hard, Samantha Traherne. Done a lot of good things, but now Pomare. They look to crash through the middle. Run from Tuimalu is a good one. Wants a quick play the ball. Pomare at dummy half. Goes out the back to Thompson. Needs a good strike. Splits winger and fullback. Now Katakosa. Goes across field, runs into an Ellenbrook shoulder. Mahinurangi Clare puts her down. Well, that's game management from the Rabbitos. Now they put the ball back in the court of the Willagee Bears. Can they break this game open? They've got to bring Brianna Young into this contest somehow.
She had those stints in the middle earlier in the first half. Hasn't really seen her come in to inject. Hodgson's not going to get around the markers this time. Kind of coaster involved for the second time this set. So receiving the kick, just driven backwards. Feel Ellenbrook's defense just becoming a little more ironclad as this game goes on. Backwards again. Forcing the issue out of the Bears at the moment. They're going to need a nice tactical kick here. Took a while to get hands on footy. Nice little chip through the middle. Could work out pretty well for Bert Polyow. I don't know what happened with the hands. Bears ball. Bears get the ball back. They can go again.
Yeah, Kaylee Thompson came across to stop Bert Polyow as she got to that ball first, but tackled her when she never had the ball in her hands, and the referee has penalised her. She went to pick the ball up. Thompson went to tackle her and tackled her before she had the ball.
They had 4 good tackles last time. They were in attacking territory. They lost it on the 5th.
They're not taking the 2, though. They're not looking to level this one up, the Bears. They want to win.
Left corner, you have to be defending. Hodgson's just going to play right for now. They line out. Left-hand side, Frost Kelemene. Skips behind Kasara. Through the line, nowhere to go over the top. Suomali this time. The rush up was good by Thompson. Hodgson will go. Can't beat the markers, gets it to Suomali, lets it go, need to hold on. McNally just gets it on the 3rd snatch.
Stripped by Traherne. Traherne's off! Oh!
2 in.
Well, I think there was only 1 in, but I think the referee had called held already, so it was stripped after the held call.
But the arm went out. Let's take a look here. Take a couple of grabs for McNally here. Goes once, twice, gets it on the 3rd. 1 involved, 1 involved, 1 involved, 2 involved. 2 gets let off.
As soon as it's stripped, there's only 1 involved, but it's after the held call.
They got the penalty anyway.
Well, Young takes the first hit up now for the Bears. 1 off now to Bert Polyow. Tips that one on. Faliwaka. Centre field. Just a few metres out. Hodgson at dummy half. Now Bert Polyow tries to crash over for a second, gets a second. The Bears are over and they come from everywhere to celebrate. We've got 3 minutes to go and the Willagee Bears, they are about to take top spot in the Westpac Women's Premiership.
They needed to celebrate for even longer, take the time off the clock, get around each other and get that clock moving. Another great direct look at line, probably the one that the Rabbitos will look back on tonight. How do we let them go through the middle with 3 minutes to go? Early in the set after giving them another repeat. Everyone's given each other opportunities tonight. The Bears have been able to make use of theirs. When probably we thought it was going to be hard to score in the first place. Still getting a water bottle before the tee. 2 minutes to go in a couple of seconds here. They're only going to get 1 set, the Rabbitos, and they're going to need an error off the kick.
Well, I mean, it'll be the short kickoff, you would think. And they'll try and get possession from it. But I noticed during the week, Caitlin Bert Polyow got named in the team of the week out of position at lock, I'm pretty sure. I think she might have the 7 locked up for team of the week this week. She's been fantastic for the Bears. Taking it right up to Kaylee Thompson. Kaylee's hasn't had a bad game herself. She's been quite good, but I think her opposite numbers got the better of her on. I don't know that I've said that on too many occasions.
Well, I said at half time, Donnie, the kick goes over, lead moves out to 4. Is it worth comparing the 7s tonight, or is it a bridge too far? Well, that bridge has certainly been crossed if you have to put it to now.
Bert Polyow just pulling out of the tackle. There was a few Rabbitos around. Frustration from the Rabbitos. They race up to this halfway line for the short kickoff.
They'll have a minute once it's kicked.
Kaylee Thompson. She wants to get the setup right.
It's going long.
She is going long. She's going towards the sideline. and it's knocked on. The Rabbitos over in front of the kicker, and a penalty at halfway.
Just got to work this one out, the Bears.
Well, and you can see it. There was a number of Rabbitos in front of Kaylee Thompson. She drew the error there from McNally. They would have got the scrum feed and a chance to attack. Instead, it's a penalty to the Bears. And they will take the tap at halfway. They'll wind down this clock, wait for the siren, and they should win this game. Quick play the ball. Hodgson. One marker says, I'll have another run. Add some more metres to my already impressive tally. So now the Bears. Run through Young. They're not looking for a slow play the balls. They're getting through this set. Frost Kilamete. Nothing expansive. And that's a slower play the ball. We wait now for the siren. Final play, the siren has sounded. They take the tackle, and look at the celebrations from the Bears. They are on top of the table, undefeated in this 2025 season, and they are incredibly happy with themselves. A 22-18 win over the highly fancied Ellenbrook Rabbitohs.
Whoever's got the Wenger bus going, turn it up. That is the best call I've heard in local sport. Beating the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs at your home ground for the first time in a season. You play this. They got it down in round one. It was easy against Kalamunda, 78-0 by round two. They go into round three against the Premiers, 28-8 they beat the Giants. And then to take on the only other undefeated team of the season, to get it done against the Rabbitos, 22-18. A big season awaits this Willagee Bears team, and dare I say, now there's an expectation, Donny.
Well, it's not just that... It's not just this song playing. I'm pretty sure there was one of the Willagee Bears guys on the sideline had a boombox on his shoulder.
That's elite.
As this song was going. Just listen to it. It's going to be party time down in Willagee on a Friday night. I'd hate to be a beer around Willagee at about this time, mate. There's going to be plenty of celebration, but... yeah, they've got a job to do for the rest of the season. They know that they're capable of beating the best teams in this competition now. This is something that will give them belief going into the rest of 2025.
And if you had to put a level on Ellenbrook's performance tonight, you couldn't go anywhere past a B+. You couldn't go lower than a B+. There was nothing fundamentally wrong. There was just a few errors around the park, as there was for both teams. So you couldn't say they beat an out-of-form Ellenbrook. That was a fair showing.
No, I thought the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs played well. I thought the Willagee Bears were just better at home. They wanted it more, and you could see what it meant to them at the end of that game. There was just occasions in that game where there was desperation required, and the Willagee Bears had more of it.
They got one more task next week for the perfect start to the season. The first game next week will be the Kalamunda Bulldogs versus Joondalup Giants at 6:40. Then at 8 o'clock, the Fremantle Roosters take on the Willagee Bears to win every single game to start their re-entry to the competition. It all shapes up pretty nicely, and we'll get out of here for this evening. That's another round done here in the Westpac Women's Premiership. Round 4, 58-0 Fremantle Roosters over the Kalamunda Bulldogs. And then you saw it here first. It is the Willagee Bears beating the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Thank you all and good night. We'll see you all next week.